This is the Real Positive Girl podcast, and I am your host, Sabrina. I'm here chatting with you about your emotions, your mental health struggles, how to take those first few steps towards being more vulnerable, more honest, and being more self aware. Self awareness is like the best new thing to do. Please don't forget that. And we do that 2 times a week here. So, welcome if you're new, and if you're not new, welcome back, friends. So, today we're going to be chatting about the importance, like why it's important to keep promises to yourself, which sounds like kind of like an off the wall kind of topic for me, I would say. That if you're not new here, I don't know, maybe not. Kind of feels like that for me. I don't know. It's different, but I'm very excited about it and we're going to have a good time with it. However, before we do that, let me ask you a question. Have we become friends online yet? Like, have we? Have you gone online? Have you said hi to me on Instagram or TikTok or even Twitter? I am busting it up on Twitter, you guys. You know why? Because I'm a writer. And I don't mean that as like me of my ego here. I'm just saying like I love writing, so I love Twitter, and that's what it is. We're not super zoned in on like videos or anything. We are just writing over there. And so it's absolutely fantastic. So come say hi. Let's like make it more real. If we if you do follow me and you haven't said hi, let's say hi. Let's become friends. Let's have a hi and hello kind of time. If you don't know how to find me on socials, just pop on down to the show notes. I have it all written out there. I'm at Sabrina Joy Perozzo on both IG and TikTok. And then on Twitter, I'm real Sabrina Joy, which I'm told that I should change that. I don't know. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's a good one for now. So check all that out. Come say hi to me, and so we can be friends. And then the next question, the last question that I have for you is: have you thought about signing up for the weekly newsletter? Or if that one doesn't apply, have you suggested a topic that I should talk about here on the podcast? Or if that doesn't apply, have you checked out the Planner Journal Hybrid? That is available on Amazon for half the price of the OG Planner Journal, and you get Prime shipping. Have you done that? Have you done any of those things? If not, again, just take a little peekaroo down into the show notes where you can find links for all of those things and all kinds of other fun stuff. So take a look. I also would be so blessed and grateful if you would like to support my goal of sharing mental health and mindset content online full time by donating some sort of financial contribution, whether that's through membership of the Patreon or just sending a cash donation, however you want to do that. But again, there is no like pressure to do so. One of the best ways that you can help me without spending any of your money and barely any of your time is just sharing the podcast with someone else that you know and telling people online about it to come listen and download and also rate it on Spotify and Apple where you're able to do that. So, anyway, all of those things, check them all out, all the links, everything down in the show notes below. Also, I want to let you know that I am actually committed to uploading more episodes, the video versions of the podcast. I uploaded 3 of them today. There 3 are live. They're from September of 2022, but still, they're coming. So slow going. We're going to get them. I'm only 50 episodes behind. But we're going to get there. We're going to get caught up. So if you like to watch it on YouTube, it is slowly rolling in. Keep me accountable for that, but I am definitely like here, ready for it, making thumbnails. We are good to go. So that's all the announcements that I have for today. Let's go ahead and just like really get into what we're going to talk about today, which is again, why it's important to keep promises to yourself. So, this was never something like keeping promises to yourself. This was never something I considered as important or even like a real thing that we should care about to do when I was growing up. And I would say growing up from like childhood through high school, even like college. Okay. Let's say like when I left college was like, okay, like formally an adult, having to like pay my own bills fully, figure this crap out, right? This was never something that I actually considered to be anything that actually mattered. As, you know, bad as that sounds. If anything, I always believed that if I was going to break promises, like I was going to break them, it's better to break them to myself and not others, so I didn't look bad or I didn't it didn't cause any sort of drama or issues with the other person. But clearly I was wrong. I, based upon the time that I spent researching this and what other people shared online, I was definitely wrong. And that's okay. Like it's not a big deal. It's good to be wrong a lot of times because that means you're going to learn even more than you would have originally if you were kind of like correct and on the same like wavelength of what you're doing, right? And so this topic came about after watching Courtney Shields' stories on Instagram. If you don't follow her, she's amazing. Just go type her name, Courtney Shields. And if you don't know how to spell that, you just pop in down to the show notes where I actually have the notes for what I'm talking about today. And she's great. But she was sharing on her stories on Instagram during like a Q&A session, and someone had asked her how how she is able to be like so confident on the regular. And she is very confident. She will share when she's not and when she's like, she's one of like the truer ones, I would say, that most of the time she shares like when she's going through crap or when she's not feeling her best. So it's not this whole like where she's like up here all the time. Those kind of people are fine. They're going to live their lives. I just don't find them to be as inspiring and motivating because they're not being real. And that's like my whole thing here, guys. If you're not new, I'm all about honesty and transparency. Let's just admit when life really sucks, but we are not going to sit in our pit of despair. We're not going to let that keep us down. We're just going to acknowledge it and we're going to be sad and upset for a little bit and then we're going to find a way forward, right? And so she's one of those people that I feel like embodies my whole life, like part of my life's mission. And I love it. So, they were like, how are you so confident on the regular? And the first thing she mentioned was keeping promises to herself. She is confident because she keeps promises to herself. This is like one of her biggest ways to stay confident because it helps her build self trust. It helps her build trust in herself. And when I tell you, in all honesty, this really stopped me in my tracks because I have often spoke about building trust in yourself, but never thought about the link between keeping promises to yourself and building trust in yourself that would eventually lead to more confidence. And it got me really excited though. Immediately I was like, "Oh my goodness, I remember watching the video. It was late at night, watching the stories in between doing something else, of course, classic, and watching that slide and then being like, whoa, wait, hold on. We need to go back. And like watching the slide again and then watching it again. But I made sure that I had somewhere on my computer to type like notes of like what she was talking about because it was so intriguing. And you might think that this sounds like such a simple idea or like thought process to have. And I think it is, but it's also, a lot of times we just kind of push away and don't even acknowledge the things that seem in practice and in writing super simple, easy, no issues. Doesn't seem like it'd be really difficult at all. And then if we ever go back to that and actually put it into practice, we'll see that it's actually more difficult than we think because it sounds simple, but then when we go to do it, it's like, oh, this actually takes more than I had thought. So anyway, just don't just like brush off things that sound simple just for the sake of thinking that you don't need to deal with it. It's totally worth it. So anyway, um, yeah, so it's like keeping promises to yourself and building trust in yourself. So it eventually will lead to more confidence. And that got me like so super excited. And I think immediately after I started writing notes, I knew that I was contemplating like, would this be worth doing a podcast episode about? Would it be enough? And I'm trying not to get caught up in the whole like enough thing because even if this episode only ended up being like 20 minutes, I think it would be worth it, right? Because I'm sharing an idea and a mindset that will help you become more confident. And that's actually one of my goals for this year, for this calendar year, is to become more confident and to embody the mindset of unbothered. I just want to be unbothered, right? I want to care about people and invest in them and share things and be excited about life. But I want to be able to just like, someone wants to come down on me, someone wants to share their opinion and it's not positive or even neutral. And it's not like, constructive criticism or feedback. They just want to be how they're going to be. And I want to be like, okay, that's great. That's your opinion. I want that so bad. I want to put that on my Christmas list. Like that's how bad I want it. Um so I was like, so that coupled with confidence and so bam, this comes in my face and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the way. This is the way. If you know, you know. And I got so excited. So immediately, almost immediately, I like typed all the notes out that I heard her say, and I did some research to put this whole idea together because I knew that if it helped me so much in the moment of hearing it, it was going to be helpful to all y'all too, like for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. So I want to go over the importance of keeping promises to ourselves, also how doing so will foster becoming our best selves every single day, because you know that's what I'm all about as well. And then share some tips on how we can accomplish this every day, how we can actually accomplish keeping our promises to ourselves every single day. Okay. Now, normally I would wait till it's like a little bit later in the podcast, but I'm just going to do it now because a lot of this was just like, we're just here. It just feels right. So I want to let you know that if you find that what I'm about to share with you does not align with what you think would help you better understand the importance of keeping promises to yourself, or why you should even like do that or figure out how, that's totally fine. I just encourage you to speak with like a counselor or a therapist. You can have that one-on-one opportunity to figure out what would align better with you to better understand this topic. But if you don't want to do that, I encourage you to go to Google and just type in like the importance of keeping promises to yourself, or why you should, or how you can better do that. And you'll find lots of blog articles and research papers and videos and all kinds of things that could help you. And so, yeah, our Google, basically, because it's like Google's our best friend, will help you a lot with that. So keep that in mind. It's just because all of these tips and advice I'm about to give you is based on my own thoughts, opinions, and research that I've done, and my personal experiences and the experiences of others that I'm able to share. So, just so we have the disclaimer out there. Okay, so like I said, the importance of keeping promises to yourself, how that turns into fostering becoming your best self every single day, and then tips on how to accomplish keeping promises to yourself. So, we already know that keeping promises to ourselves builds self trust. We already know that. We've established it. With self trust, we can count on ourselves to follow through with like commitments and do what we say we're going to do, which my business coach likes to call being impeccable with your word. He's often saying like, we need to be impeccable with our word. We need to actually do what we say we're going to do. No excuses, no stories that we're telling ourselves, just freaking do it. He would input other curse words there that I don't say often. So just do it, right? And that's very easy to understand. Yes, commitments. Do what we say we're going to do. And this can be even more of an important thing if we don't have people in our lives that do this. And I really resonated with this thought because I was like, wow, this actually would be so much more comforting if we don't have people in our lives that, you know, like keep their promises to us or even to themselves. It's like, it feels like we're becoming almost like our own role model if we are able to keep our promises to ourselves, right? So we will want to build self trust even more if we know we can at least count on ourselves. But regardless of like either way, like however that goes, when we build strong self trust, we know that we will get things done, which can also lead to an increase in self esteem. And I am banking on that. It's like tack that on. I need that extra. That's amazing. So yes, I just got like so in there and I'm like, wait, hold on. Let's like regroup here. So yeah, building self-trust, we count on ourselves, and we will just get stuff done. We will do what we say we're going to do, and we could also probably benefit from some increased self-esteem doing it because we're just feeling good, right? I feel like I'm already getting jacked with self-esteem and I haven't even fully put this thing into practice. But we're here. So it's a given that building self trust will benefit our personal goals, like in relation to resilience and creating new habits that we need to follow through on for it to become like a proper habit that's actually helpful, right? You have to follow through on your habits to create a habit, and then you have to continue doing that habit for it to be a helpful habit, for it to be something that's beneficial to your life. But it is kind of a given to be like, yeah, self trust, personal growth, personal development, yes, resilience, the ability to bounce back and not let adversity and things control you or take you out from what you're trying to accomplish and go after, right? And so consistency and accountability are being built up as well, which is amazing. So when we start to trust ourselves more and more, we are just going to like continue to be even more consistent with keeping our promises to ourselves and having that accountability built in because we are telling ourselves this is what we have to do. And when we learn to become accountable to ourselves, which I think is really important because, yes, having accountability partners or groups like my business group is like a business accountability group. That's how I think of it. It's so helpful because then you feel like you're working towards your goals, like your personal goals, but knowing that you have to tell someone whether or not you hit those progress points or those milestones for that week, it's like, oh my gosh, you're like working for the ability to tell them that you did what you wanted to do and what you set out to do as well, right? It's just like this double fulfillment of like you did it for yourself, but you're also doing it so you can actually tell that other person or people that you did it. You know, does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So, anyway, when we learn to become accountable to ourselves, we end up accomplishing more and more without too many setbacks. And when I think of setbacks, I think more of like procrastination and allowing to be distracted and all of these things that we allow to get in our way, which, if you need to learn more about that, a couple of episodes back talking about distractions, it's super helpful. But there's like 2 episodes on distractions right before this one. But yeah, so we can just like, if we're building in that accountability to ourselves, we're going to have way less setbacks than we would if we did not have that built in. Also, keeping promises to ourselves can be a form of self care. I did not realize this at all. It popped up in the research, and I was like, this is very interesting. We have to share this, of course. So, it can be like keeping promises to ourselves can be a form of self care because when we prioritize what we need to do, it's us investing in our own well being, right? Like that makes sense. We are investing, we are prioritizing what we need to do because we are keeping the promises and we're following through on what the heck we said we're going to do. And we are investing in our own well being, in our own personal wellness because we're following through with these things that we know we need to do. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. I love it. So, it's just, it's amazing. So let's talk about the part that always draws me in, right? Because we just talked about the importance of, keeping promises to yourself, which is great, personal growth, accountability, consistency, self care, all these things. Amazing. But let's talk about becoming your best self every single day. So important. It's so important because it's not as like binding as you think because I say like becoming your best self every day, which immediately, like almost immediately, I would ask you before I say it. I didn't take notes on this part, so that's why it's a little crazy. When I say becoming your best self every day, like what shape comes into your mind? Like what shape do you envision in your mind when I say becoming your best self every day? I'll let you think about it for a second or pause. You have the ability to pause if you need to. So I feel like immediately a lot of people think of like a staircase, like going up, or like an escalator going up, which would be like a triangle on its side. I don't know the actual geometry term. I feel like I did good in geometry. It was okay. But anyway, because I like geometry, actually, I'm really good at mini golf. You ever anyone put those links together? It's the same. So when people think about that, though, they think about becoming their best selves. They think immediately like it's just like you're climbing one step higher every day, when that is not it at all. Becoming your best self every day can definitely look like hills and valleys, and hills and valleys, hills and valleys. So it's kind of like you're doing like aerobic exercise up and down, all around, all around because you're going to become your best self that you can for that day. And that day could be a really tough day compared to yesterday, that was a pretty decent day compared to tomorrow, that's going to be the mountaintop day. Okay, you might go for all the way from the valley to the mountaintop and then like dribble down the mountain just a little bit. So you're becoming your best day. You're becoming your best self for that day, which is again why we should not compare where we were yesterday to tomorrow or today because every day is its own thing. It's all independent of each other. Yes, the story crosses over, we continue to carry the baggage into the next spot that we go, the next day that we travel to. But they're all independent of each other. They're all different days. So let this be your reminder to stop comparing day to day. So become your best self every single day. Don't think of it as like just up. Think of it as like up and down all around. We're doing the best we can every single day. So let's talk more about this. I look forward to the day where I actually catch up on the video version of the podcast because when you see the way that I am crazily moving around, I would say the first like 30 episodes, I am more reserved because I filmed it for the sake of like filming it, not necessarily being entertaining. And I think in the last like 10 or 20 episodes, I'm just like letting loose and talking how I normally would talk. And it's very entertaining, I think. It's very like, she's here. So I look forward to that. Catching up on sharing these out, and you're like, what is she doing? If you enjoy watching the video version of a podcast. Okay, so I did some research on how keeping promises to ourselves can contribute to our daily goal, becoming our best self for that day. And I was not let down, my friends. I was not let down, which got me even more excited. So we end up building up several things when we learn to keep promises to ourselves, which is absolutely freaking fantastic, right? That's what we want. That's what we want. So, self discipline is one of those things that we end up building up when we are actively in here. We are out there on these streets, becoming our best self every single day, keeping promises to ourselves. Self discipline. So, when we consistently keep promises to ourselves, we are also engaging in discipline. And you have to have discipline to continue to follow through with something when the motivation runs out, because eventually it will. Motivation is not designed to be there forever. It's definitely there to do like that kickstart, that like push, that that boost that you need in the middle towards the end. All of these things. It's not something that is like sustained through the entire process. That's why you need discipline. Discipline is supposed to be the thing that will sustain you through the entire process, okay? So you have to have discipline to continue to follow through with something when the motivation runs out. And with discipline, we have the ability to make healthy choices and also carry on with commitments in everything we do because we're disciplined enough to be like, we have to do this rain or shine, yes or no, we want to or not. We're here to do it and we've built it in, right? There's also productivity and as like, being a thing that would be built up in us. And it isn't one that I thought of off the bat at all. But it came up in my research time and I was like, interesting. I'm a girl that loves efficiency and productivity. So I was like, we're going to share this today. But it's true. It does. It does build up. When we are following through with our promises, we are leaning less into procrastination and are more focused, which leads to getting more completed, which just means we'll actually be more productive because we're getting more crap done because we're less distracted, which is fantastic. That's like, let's celebrate, And, when we can demonstrate that we are able to keep promises to ourselves, we also show how responsible and reliable we are. And I don't know why I'm laughing at responsibility. Sometimes I'm like, I am uber responsible, 12 out of 10. And then other times I'm like, put me down for a 7. Put me down for a 7. I don't know why it changes. It just does. Maybe you feel the same. But yeah, so when we demonstrate that we're able to keep promises to ourselves, it also reflects in our responsibility, being self-responsible, and how reliable we are. And it doesn't matter less just because it's us, like like ourselves, because a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, you're just doing it for yourself. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I think it means more, because it's for yourself, because many people live with the mindset that I had growing up that I shared at the top of the show, that it's better to break promises to others it's better to break promises to ourselves than to others so we don't let people down. But again, That was well before I realized that everyone gets to choose how they feel and they're in control of their own emotions. And so now it's kind of just like, I'm not asking you to go out there and say things that like paint you as a jerk. I'm just saying that, you know, people get to choose. So if you wanted to be honest and transparent with how you feel about things and share them, and we hadn't before, but now we are, it's just like, we're here, we matter, not just taking care of everyone else. That's the grand story of that. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes, my friends. Let's get into how to keep promises to yourself and make it mean something. I don't know why I needed to add that in there. I almost didn't, but then I felt like I had to. And I've been trying to follow through with the whole yes of like my mind, my heart telling me you got to add that in even if it sounds dumb. You got to add it in. It's going to mean something. Make it mean something. That's the part I'm talking about. So, let's get into how to keep promises to yourself and make it mean something. Got 5 tips. Let's dive in. Number 1, figure out why you struggled with this in the past. Figure out why you struggled with this in the past. So, specifically, figure out why you struggled with being able to keep promises to yourself in the past. Be honest. I always have to remind people of that because I think that we, um, you know, conveniently forget to be honest. And we need to. You have to be honest for you to actually understand and uncover the real answers and reasons for why things are happening or have happened to you. So be honest and own up to why you haven't kept promises to yourself before, and also hit on why it's important for you to do it now. So, why didn't you do it before, and why is it so important for you to do it now, right? Don't just do it because I told you to. Don't just do it because I told you you should, right? You're listening to this, you came across this episode, maybe you actually subscribe and listen to every episode, and you're like, okay, here's the next one from Sabrina. She's telling me to do this, I got to do this. Yeah, that's great. I feel very lucky and grateful that I can be here for you and share with you, like, to help you live your best life and become your best self. However, you also have to want all the things that I'm sharing with you for you to actually do them with full commitment. So make sure that you're not just doing it because I'm telling you you should do it. Get to the root of the struggle, and you'll have an easier time in figuring out a way forward. You want a way forward. You want to figure out a way forward. I apologize if you heard my squeaky desk chair in the background there as I was trying to get more comfortable on the chair. So, yeah, get to the root of the struggle, and you'll have an easier time figuring out a way forward for sure. So, figure out why you struggled with this in the past. Number 2, be realistic with your goals. Be realistic with your goals. It's a classic tip anytime you talk about goals. Even when I wrote it, I was like, didn't I just talk about this? But it's a good reminder every single time, no matter what. So don't come up with just anything that you want to do, right? You want to be very defined. You want to be very specific about your goals and what you're going to do, you know? And don't expect yourself to just like go through with it just because you said you would, right? Because what if you say you're going to do something and then you like later are like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I just said that to impress other people or make myself feel like I can be all big and bad. And now I don't really want to do that, right? And it feels icky when people don't keep their promises to you. And I want you to figure out a way for it to feel icky to you when you don't keep your promises to you. You know what I mean? Got to have that, accountability and trust. So you have to determine if you can actually follow through with it, like with whatever goals that you have, and if it's a reasonable goal for you. And that's going to be different for everyone. Like you have to really ask yourself, again, be honest, is it a reasonable goal for you? Also, does it make sense for you? And if not, then why are you doing it, right? Do you connect with it? Does it seem like something that you can do? You can rise to the occasion if you need to, if you're not already skilled in it. So be realistic and then make sure that whatever you're going after, the whole realism part is does it really connect with you? Do you have to do it? Is it something that is necessary for you? Will it benefit for you? Or will it just be a waste of time? Really think about it. Be honest. Be honest with everything with yourself, okay? Because it's not as though you have to say things out loud. You just keep it in your brain. So there's no reason to not be honest, you know? You know. You know what I'm talking about. Be realistic with your goals. Be realistic with your goals. Number 3, create a plan. Create a plan. Again, another classic like tip to put in there for goals. I'm spinning them a different way though, so that it's more specific to what we're talking about. But yeah, create a plan. So don't go into anything without knowing what's going to happen and how. So, what is going to happen? What goals are you going to set? What plan are you going to have to achieve those goals? I'm sorry. I was in the middle of yawning. Oh my goodness. Sorry. It's like 12:57 a.m. Just like a peek behind the curtain for you of me recording this podcast. Literally 2 hours before it's going to be released. You're welcome. Um, so yeah, don't go into anything without knowing what's going to happen and how you're going to get there. You got to have a plan. Even if it's a loose plan, something that you write on a napkin, it literally has like 4 pieces to it. You got to have a plan. And it's nothing to brag about that you just figured it out, that you didn't have a plan. You know what I mean? People will just like want to like brush it off their shoulder and be like, I just figured it out. No one wants to hear that story. They don't. You think they do because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. But inside they're like, oh, really? You just figured it out while I did all this work. And it's not even a jealousy thing. It's just like, why? Why does that have to be your claim to fame? I have a claim to fame like that. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, I need to stop bragging about this. It's impressive, but it's like, no. Just like you being like, I just figured it out. It's impressive, but no. But no. So, don't be like that. No one wants to hear that story. When you are creating a plan, make sure you fully understand your goals and how connected they are to you, what it means to you, and what you need to achieve said goals. Like, what is needed? Do you actually need tools? Do you need time? Do you need structure? Like, what do you need to create these goals? That's going to go into your plan, right? What milestones can you hit along the way for this goal? Define those out. And how small each step should be. So often when you're creating goals, it's important for you to break down the goals into smaller steps so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and then you can check them off as milestones, progress points, and it feels more fulfilling and like you're accomplishing more because you're able to be like, checked all these things, did all the things. Also, plan for contingencies, right? Maybe this could happen, maybe that could happen. That's okay. Not too many, not over the top. Kind of hit like a neutral thing in the middle where you're like, okay, I'm like vaguely prepared for like 4 different scenarios because we're flying across the country and this and that's happening. You know what I mean? So consider what contingencies could happen and who you can fall back on if you need help. Who you can fall back on if you need help. I'm telling you, as someone that definitely lived through, ah man, definitely lived through too much pride, not wanting to ask people for help, also didn't want to be looked down upon, right? Um, don't be that person that refuses to ask for help. Don't be me years ago. Don't do it. Just ask for help. You're allowing people to work in the giftings that they have if they're good at what you're asking them to do, and also people to feel good for helping someone else. Those are benefits for them. And even talk about any benefits for you. Ask people for help when you need it, okay? So, plan for contingencies and who you can fall back on if you need them. Don't refuse help. Create a plan. Number 4, find the perfect reminder. Find the perfect reminder. So this could be like a sticky note everywhere, which I actually do love. Just like pops out at me. Some people in my house don't like that, or it just like falls off. I don't know. Whatever reason. But, this could be a sticky note everywhere to remind you of your goals and what you need to do. Maybe it's a set of daily alarms and reminders on your phone that will help you. I do have reminders on my phone that come up every single day and they are reoccurring. So I'll get that every day and I'm like, oh, yeah, that is a good reminder. And sometimes I'll swipe it away and half the time I'll actually read it and it'll be a good reminder and reinforcement in my mindset for that day. And post-it notes can do that same thing, having an alarm or a reminder on your phone. Same thing, right? And or you can use like a vision board, right? That you look at daily. I know some people that will create a vision board, take a photo of it, add it to like the front wallpaper of their phone. Maybe it's like an image that pops up every day. They put it on their desktop of their computer and they're able to see it every day. And it's a perfect reminder of like what you need to do and the steps that you need to take and how you're able to follow through and keep the promises to yourself of the goals that you created. So, whatever system you prefer, get it going and make sure you have the daily reminders of what you are working towards, right? Learning to prioritize these promises is crucial to your success because you will learn that you will use that skill in other things, in other jobs and other workplaces, but it's just really important to prioritize because if you don't, then you can get caught up in a situation that you don't want to be in, caught in the weeds, and you're just like, oh no, I should have like prioritized these promises because they're important to me and I just need to get them done, right? So find the perfect reminder for you of what goals and things you're going after, and they can continue to like, cement those things in your mind for you to just have like almost perfect recall when someone says something and it triggers it, and then it's like so beneficial, right? So find the perfect reminder. And then the last one that I want to share with you is track, reflect, and celebrate your progress. Track, reflect, and celebrate your progress. So make sure you find a way to keep track of how well you stayed committed and followed through with everything that you said you were going to do, right? Choose an appropriate cadence to reflect on things, and how things are and how things are going and whether any changes or shifts need to happen. So, you want to keep track of what's going on and how you're responding to it. And you also want to reflect every month or every quarter on how things are going and if things need to be changed or shifted or new perspectives adopted for you to figure out the best way forward with this thing, right? And then always celebrate progress. Every single thing, everything. And it doesn't have to be like a big fiesta, like a big party or anything. It literally could just be a pat on the back, or high five with yourself. Especially if you work alone, at home, remote, like me. I mean, my husband works here too, but it's still like we're in our offices. It's alone. We're remote. But yeah, regardless of how big or small the accomplishment was, every little bit matters. Every single sliver matters. It all matters and should be treated as such. So you need to make sure that you're celebrating your progress, celebrating hitting those milestones. Track the times that you actually follow through with, what you said you're going to do. Reflect on that to make sure you're still going through the right actions and motions that benefit you the most, and then celebrate every single one of those accomplishments because it's absolutely 125 million% worth it. I promise. But that is all the tips I have to share on you and how to become, how to start being that person that keeps your promises and makes it more meaningful. And I'm so glad you were listening to that and understanding the importance of keeping promises to yourself and how that can foster you becoming your best self every single day. So, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast again with me, Sabrina. Please don't forget to check the show notes below to actually, read the show notes if you need those. They're always down there. I try to make sure they're as robust as the notes that I use myself. Check out all the links. Come follow me on socials. Say hi. Today on Instagram, they started the whole like broadcast channels thing. So there is a channel dedicated to the Real Positive Girl podcast where you can just get updates from me and know when podcast episodes are coming out and anything else that pertains to the podcast. If you do join that group, I beg of you to answer the polls. No one ever wants to answer my polls and stories. Only been using channels for one day. No one wants to answer them. It's weird. It's like people are like, nah, dog. You're honest, but we can't be that honest yet. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, check all that out. And that's really it. So until next time, have a good one. I'll see y'all next time. And I can't wait. Have a fantastic day.